have a distinct problem. For the first 16 years of my life, I thought my name was Emma. That's spelled E-M-M-A. However, upon my attempt to acquire a learner's permit, I found out that there was a clerical error on my birth certificate, making my legal name Emma. Emma spelled with 3 M's. E-M-M-M-A. To be clear, this spelling was not intended by my parents. However, they seem to find my mutant beast of a name absolutely hilarious and take every opportunity to remind me of it. Obviously, I am distraught.
Oh, how is it pronounced though, John? How is Emma with 3 M's pronounced? Is it just Emma?
Don't make it worse.
Or is it like...
Don't make it worse. Don't make it worse. I'm having a hard time figuring out if my fears are legitimate, thus I've turned to the pod. Oh, great idea. So, am I being too uptight? Should I pretend this clerical error never happened, or should I own the new spelling?
Well, I'm worried that it's going to end up on your driver's license, too. No,
you should not own the new spelling. Jesus Christ.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, just hey, why is your name Emma with 3 M's? Oh, because 16 years ago, somebody misread a form.
Okay, but John, I just want to point out that Emma signs off Emma, or possibly Emma.
I believe it's pronounced Emma.
No, I think it's just Emma.
You have to settle more into the "ma," so it's like Emma. Yeah, that's not bad. Probably the next step is you should go ahead and legally change your name to the name that is your name, because the government should not get to decide how many M's are in your name. I don't want to sound like too much of a libertarian, Emma, but I do think that there are some places that the government should stay out of, including the number of M's in Emma.
Just stick with it, because who else has that? Who else has that story? Everybody from now on is going to look at your driver's license and they're going to be like, I didn't know your name had 3 M's in it. And you're going to be like, funny story. And also, I was on this podcast and they told me to keep it, so I did. Though one of the brothers was wrong and he told me to change it, and I disobeyed him directly. And then I wrote a letter to Hank about how right he was and how great he is.
That's terrible advice. The thing is, Hank, she will have the story for the rest of her life.
No,
all she needs to do is photocopy the birth certificate and keep it in her pocket.
You gotta have it come
for the
up
rest of her
natural.
life, she's going to have a hilarious story. I mean, Hank is right, Emma, that this is a very funny story. I understand that current you is really unhappy about this situation. Future you is going to find this as funny as your parents do. You need to hold on to some memories of Emma, but I don't think you need to hold on to the name as your name if you don't want to.
I feel as if we have both made our cases. This next question comes from Cassandra with 3 S's. Dear Hank and John, recently me and my boy...
So I land in Reykjavik, Iceland, with 3 of my friends, and we go to the hot baths immediately. And the hot baths are almost empty, but very nice, very pleasant. And this part of Iceland itself looks a little bit like the surface of Mars, which is to say that it's boring and uninhabited, but there was still something lovely about it. And then we take the bus into Reykjavik proper, and it's a large city with no people in it. It is completely abandoned. It looks like a ghost town. And I'm totally freaked out, walking down the road with my baggage behind me, complete silence. It was the most odd and dislocated I can ever remember feeling. And then suddenly, there is this eruption of sound. Hundreds of thousands of people making noise all at once, and they emerge from whatever hiding place they've been onto the streets, screaming, cheering, throwing beer at each other, their faces covered in the Icelandic flag, many of them weeping. And it turns out that when we landed in Iceland was the very moment that Iceland's Olympic men's handball team was securing Iceland's first Olympic medal in 60 years. And so I found myself in the midst of the most wonderful party, and people would grab me or grab Sarah and scream joyfully in Icelandic. And we would be like, that's wonderful. And they would be like, oh, you're American. You've won so many medals. You must always feel this way. So I love Iceland.
I like to walk around on campus when it is dark. I enjoy it because it is peaceful, and not many people are out and about. I naturally walk faster than most, so when there's another person, I would normally walk past them, but I don't want to freak them out by making it feel like I am approaching them.
But
if I slow down and we're going in the same general direction, then it seems like I'm following them. Yeah. What do I do? Pavo mediocri salvete, Michael, and I'm sorry about my Latin. I do not do Latin.
Here's what you do. Just turn. Just like, I'm going to walk across the leaves now.
Yeah, right.
If you're into a hedge.
Dude, if you're just taking a walk, you can go any direction you want.
That's right. Yeah, no, I do this all the time where I'm like, I feel awkward. This person knows I'm here but doesn't want to turn around to look at me, so I'm just going to go into the woods.
That's not creepy at all. Just
he disappeared. Where did he go? He was right there. He was right behind me. Where did this strange man go?
Did he go into the bush to hide?
Other solution. Rollerblades.
Right. I mean, there's nothing less threatening. Like, oh, here comes a guy on rollerblades. Better get out my mace.
Maybe. I don't know. But the thing is, on rollerblades, people know that you're going to be passing them because you have wheels. You got the rocket feet. And there is something really non-threatening about a guy on rollerblades, especially if they're like skates that are just for like skating.
If you got them fitness skates on.
Yeah, fitness skates.
Yeah, fitness skates. Nothing sexier.
Which is the only kind I've ever had. I think we can have that one out of the park.
I just started my new graphic design job last month, and as part of the graphics team, it's my job to create the retirement PowerPoint for a longtime employee. I don't know anything about this guy or how to make a personable retirement PowerPoint, especially since this is my first job. I barely know how to start, much less retire. Dubious advice requested at your earliest convenience. Never ordinary, always a nom. Molly.
Anomaly. I get it.
Everything about this situation is a disaster. How unpopular must this longtime employee be that everyone was like, oh, God, who's going to make the PowerPoint for Rick? Oh, I know. We can make Molly do it. She's brand new. Oh,
Molly,
God.
you gotta ask around, I guess. You got to get people to send you some pictures of Rick. Maybe find Rick's Facebook or at least his LinkedIn and be like, okay, how long's Rick been with the company? What if his job titles? What are you supposed to do? You can't give this job to a person. It's like calling somebody up and being like, it's my wife's and I's anniversary. Could you make us like a really heartfelt video? That'd be great. I'll send you $50.
Can you please put a PowerPoint together? Molly, I don't think this is a great work environment. I'm going to be honest with you. I think you need to move on from this job, and I think the best way to say goodbye to this job is via a really hilarious retirement PowerPoint for Rick. So I think the background music has to be Wind Beneath My Wings. And I think it all just has to be fading in and out of the same picture of Rick. That's just his work ID picture. Just fade in. And it's Rick's ID picture. And then you do that slow fade out. And then it's like, what's the next slide going to be? Oh no. It's Rick's ID picture again. And then the last...
Can I get the last frame? Because I got a great idea for the last frame.
Yes.
The last frame.
You do the last frame.
It fades out, and it's a bald eagle with the picture of Rick's ID superimposed over the head. Just Rick's ID picture. That's it. And then it's just
and then maybe underneath that in script, it says like Rick 1964 to 2018.
It's like he died.
It's beautiful, Molly, and you will never have to make another retirement PowerPoint as long as you are a person working at this company.
Benjamin Harrison.
Hank, because you're digging a hole deeper and deeper. There's a couple responses I also wanted to get to, including a response from Molly, who had to make the PowerPoint for the guy, Rick, who was retiring, and it was like her first day on the job, and she had to make a retirement PowerPoint for a stranger. Dear John and Hank, just as an update about the PowerPoint, I was able to scrape together some blurry pictures, including some of him with his family, I think, and one of them holding a baby. Whose baby?
God,
hell
this
if I know.
happened.
I found out that his nickname was Teflon Rick because nothing ever sticks to him. Still not entirely convinced that the guy I talked to wasn't messing with me on that one. It was a hiking-themed presentation about the next adventure, and the opening title was 12 Years Here, Teflon Rick, ! People seemed properly apathetic to the whole thing while they ate their barbecue. Thanks for the read, Molly.
Wait, so what? Why are people trying to stick stuff to Rick?
I hope Rick listens to the pod and he writes in.
Yeah, we really want to know, why are people trying to make things stick to you, whether actually physically or like the murder rap or whatever, like the crime that Rick may or may not have done. I'm confused. In the internship I have at my college this summer, one of the major things I'm doing is calling prospective students to gauge their interest in school and such. I'm supposed to be a resource to these potential students, so I introduce myself at the beginning of each call and leave my phone number. Sometimes, though, I have to call someone who has my same first name. It just feels very weird to leave a voicemail saying, "Hi, Lauren, this is Lauren. What should I do? Should I lie? Change my name? When it's raining, it's Lauren." You just gotta make a joke out of it, yeah?
No, you change your name, not permanently, just for the sake of the call.
So, yeah, you see,
the person doesn't care, frankly, if your name is Lauren. To me, it gives you a great opportunity. Now, you can only do this when you're calling Laurens. You can't do it every time because it'll be seductive and super fun, and you'll want to do it every time, and you can't. But every time you're calling a Lauren, they answer, they say hello, and you say, "Hi, this is Bette Midler from Florida State University." And they say, "What?" And you say, "This is Bette Midler. I'm a student at Florida State University. I'm calling because I know you've been admitted to the school, and I was just wondering how you feel about it."
I love that you chose Bette Midler.
Well, I just think it's the perfect, because that's a name that prospective college students will really resonate with, because they remember Wind Beneath My Wings. They saw beaches.
Bette Midler is good. I think in general, like, something a little bit obscure is excellent. You could also be like, "Hi, Lauren, this is Manhole. I'm calling from Florida State University, and I just wanted to let you know that we're really interested in giving you as much information as you want on the great programs we have at FSU."
You're onto something here, Hank, because nobody's listening to the beginning of the call anyway. What happens when you try an increasingly obscure and absurdist series of things, right? Like, what happens if you're like, "Hi, Lauren. This is a gang of turkeys calling from Florida State University. There's 17 of us. We were just wondering how you feel about Florida State's excellent classical music program. We have four classical music majors here among our gang of 17 turkeys who are making this phone call. Be happy to connect you with one of them directly. I'm an anthropology major."
Hi. This is one scissor. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, is that possible? Yes, because scissors are a pair of scissors. I'm just one of them. My other pair is calling a different Lauren right now.
I'm basically a knife. Anyway,
basically
how do you
a
feel
knife
about
with a loopy
FSU?
handle. Anyway, FSU's really great. I've had a really, really positive experience here.
Hey, Lauren, have you ever been driving alone at night and you're filled with a sort of vague melancholy, but not an unpleasant one? That's me, here to call you about FSU. What do you think? Would you like to go to college here? Don't feel pressure. I know there's a lot of great schools.
Oh, God.
Dear John and Hank, I've obtained an unfortunate nickname at work. It was. Which roughly translates to little dude/little boy. I've been there 5 months. How do I get this to stop? So I don't really have a solution to your problem, Hank might, but I do have a relevant story that I'm on the fence about telling. So about 3 months ago, one of my good friends turned 40.
I'm excited about
And we had a party in like a hotel suite in Indianapolis. And it was a great time, and there was a lot of drinking and food and games and fun, and
There was a tiger, and Mike Tyson was there, and then everybody...
Yeah, you've seen the movie. And then at about like 12:30 in the morning, somebody was like, "Oh man, I'm really hungry. I wish I had some like Doritos." And I was like, "You guys want some snacks?" And they're like, "Yeah, we really want some snacks." And I was like, "I'll go get some snacks." And they were like, "What? You're asleep?" And I'm like, "No, it's good. I got it." So I go down to the hotel lobby, and I don't want to brag, but I am really good at like late night snack acquisition. You know how like some people under order on the snacks, That's never been a problem for me. So I go downstairs, and it's a situation where there's like this like hotel pantry where you can get whatever you want, and I get a lot of snacks. I probably get 30, 35 total snacks. But I don't have any bags, so I just kind of roll it up into my shirt as best I can and kind of hold the rest of it, Yeah, like a baby, basically, but like a baby that's got 35 discrete parts, any of which could fall off at any moment. I get in the elevator. Now, the elevator is full of 8 people who do not know each other, but are all very drunk and have been riding up and down on the elevator for long enough that they've become friends, and they can't figure out how to get to the floor that they all want to get to. This is the environment into which I walk with this 35 different snacks. So I walk in there, and one of the guys says, "You got a lot of snacks, man." And then one of the other people says, "He's a snack man." And then these 8 strangers start chanting, "Snack man, snack man, snack." No! No! No!
What did you expect?
I should never have done it. Oh no!
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, well this is really bad, but at least it's just an elevator phenomenon. But no. I get out of the elevator. I'm walking back to the hotel suite where Sarah's birthday party is, and here's this freaking Greek chorus behind me. Chan Snack Man. And I don't know what to do. I'm like, do I knock on a different door and just like hope for the best? But no, in the end, like I knock on the right door and my friends open up and there are these strangers behind me chanting Snack Man. And that's how I got that nickname.
So I guess the answer to the question is you got to start bringing snacks. And then you'll be the snack boy.
Glad we got that covered.
I just signed a lease for a new apartment next year, and because of a weird apartment and real estate market circumstance, I will have an extra bedroom in my apartment. I don't want to have a roommate because of a poor roommate situation I had last year. What do I do with the extra room in my apartment? Create a ball pit? Make the room just for my cat? Don't forget to be great, Kate.
Hank, I'm reading this amazing book called My Year of Rest and Relaxation, in which a person attempts to essentially sleep through an entire year. And when the person is meeting their psychiatrist for the first time, the psychiatrist is holding a large tabby cat that the psychiatrist introduces as my eldest.
Okay.
And for some reason, like, I find that detail so believable and funny, like, as somebody who's met a lot of psychiatrists in his life, but also like the way that a certain kind of cat person would introduce a cat as my eldest. It's just so perfect. There's little moments in great books that are just so perfect. Anyway, all of that is to say that there is no way you should make this a room for your cat. It's going to come across as weird.
Yeah, but sometimes it's okay to come across as weird, John. But honestly, I think the problem is that if you did that, it's not weird enough. But maybe it'd be better to have like a bowling pin room or something. And people are like, what's that room? And you're like, oh, check it out. And then it's just bowling pins.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a problem with the cat. just going to throw it out there. Whatever you do with this room, Kate, you've got to go all in. So if it's a cat room, I want to open that door and I want to be like, oh my God. They made a cat room.
John, I want to give actual advice for this room. As a person who has moved to many different places, do nothing with this room. Leave it empty because the next apartment you move into won't have that room, and then you'll have all that stuff to get rid of.
That's terrible advice.
Just lock the door and never open it.
When I lived at my first apartment in Mount Vernon, Ohio, I had an extra room. I sealed it off so that I didn't have to heat it, and that saved me like $50 a month.
Vents, cover up all the vents.
And then when people would come over to my apartment, which was very rare, and they would say like, well, what's that? What's behind that door? I'd be like, oh, we don't open that door.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. No, my landlord won't let me go in there.
Yeah, you have a level of menace to it, and you're just like, yeah, I mean, I tried to open it once, and I heard a weird noise on the other side, and so I haven't opened it.
That is the best thing to do with this room, for sure. Just to have it be like, oh, I've never opened it.
Oh, or you could make it even a little more extreme, where you could just have a sign on the door that says, do not open under any circumstances, and maybe you can have a little, like, noisemaker on the other side of it, where just, like, occasionally it'll knock, like panicked knocking.
And your friends are over and they're like, what's in there? And you're like, nothing. They're like, can I open it? And then you just slap their hand. Nothing. There's nothing in the room.
Yeah. You can be like, hey, have you ever read Jane Eyre? And they'll be like, yeah, I've read Jane Eyre. And you'll be like, yeah, no, there's nothing up there.
Have you ever read The Cast of Amontillado? There's nothing in there.
Hank and I spent the last 15 minutes coming up with really dark things that could be happening behind that room.
Dear Hank and John, as Halloween is approaching, I find my anxiety growing stronger. I don't like Halloween, but my office dresses up. I don't want to be that guy and show up to work with no costume and be a buzzkill, but I also don't want to go through the effort to celebrate a holiday I don't care about. Should I quit my job, call in sick, write book on my face like Jim Halpert? Not Ryan, but Brian.
Brian, I feel you here. I do not like dressing up for Halloween. I'm 41 years old. I'm not in the costume business. I'm not like my brother prancing around as Dr. Lawrence Turtleman. I bought the clothes that I bought because I'm comfortable in them and I like wearing them. I don't want to like wear them 364 days and then the other day dress up like Woody from Toy Story.
I think calling in sick is not a terrible idea. Like, you
totally
get vacation
agree.
days, right? Do you, like, indulge in a thing that you like doing, whether that's staying home and reading a book or going to the go-kart place and owning all the 12-year-olds celebrating their birthdays.
Some of those 12-year-olds you can't compete with because they weigh so much less. I was go-karting recently and this absolutely snot-faced 12-year-old passed me in humiliating fashion, then slowed down to let me pass them, and then passed me again.
It was like, I liked that. Let's do it again.
Yeah. I can do this whenever I want, nerd. Yeah, Brian, go go-karting. You just have to build your own Halloween traditions. So, you know, like people who don't celebrate Christmas, sometimes they'll go out for lunch and then watch a movie by themselves or something on Christmas Day. You just got to build your own Halloween tradition so that eventually you will love Halloween. You just won't love it in the way that everyone else loves it.
If Brian doesn't want to do this and does want to go to work, is there a costume that Brian can wear that people see it and they're like, ah, well done, but also it's just his normal clothes?
The whole problem with Halloween is that high effort costumes are good and low effort costumes are all bad.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I hate Halloween. My kids are going to want me to do something and they're going to, well, Dad, why don't you dress, and then you maybe put on a witch hat and everyone's like, oh, that's not a costume, that's just a witch hat. And you're like, well, I don't want to change pants for this event. One thing you might try, Brian, is going so hard on your Halloween costume that you humiliate everyone else in the office and they just quit Halloween forever. I would suggest going as The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, but instead of like getting like a muscle suit or whatever, I would just hire Dwayne The Rock Johnson to go to your work on Halloween.
And just wear your clothes.
Wear your clothes, and he's just absolutely busting out of them. And he knows enough about your life. He's a good actor. He's a really good actor, actually.
He is.
That he can just follow along, and he can just make your office believe like, wow, Brian like became The Rock for a day. And then everyone will be like, Halloween's no good anymore. Brian's too good at it.
I love the idea of paying someone to go to your Halloween party for you. Just anyone. And like,
that's true.
You don't have to. You
It
don't
doesn't
have to
have to
hire
be
The
The
Rock.
Rock.
You could just hire a local actor to pretend that they're you.
Yeah, just give
Could you
them
do
your
that
clothes.
every day at work?
Wait, Hank, I think we might be onto something. What if you paid a local actor $28,000 a year to do your $32,000 a year job, and then you got 14 jobs?
but your main job was just managing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You are now just a manager.
Now that I think about it.
Congratulations, John. You've created capitalism.
I've created the limited liability corporation. Brian, I think we've solved your problem now. Congratulations on your new business. All right, this next question comes from Jacob, and it's a big one, Hank. Dear John and Hank, my girlfriend and I recently found out that her mother plans to give us a live duck as a present when we get engaged.
Why'd you put it on the registry?
That's on you, Jacob. If you don't want a duck, don't register at ducks.com for 400 ducks. Both my girlfriend and I agree that we're not ready for a duck. And likely won't be by the time we get engaged. I mean, of course.
Maybe. Who says?
I like that Jacob is open to the idea that they will be ready
ducks.
for a duck someday.
Yeah.
But they're just not there yet. How do we tell my girlfriend's mother that we don't want a duck without hurting her feelings? Sometimes we get questions that are obvious goofs, and this has to be a goof. There's no way.
Where do you live? Like, do you live in a place where you can have a duck? Where do you keep a duck? You don't keep it inside. It poops.
Do you? I mean, maybe you do keep a duck. Maybe people have like fully domesticated ducks that like pee in the potty and everything.
You just got to take it for walks, I guess.
Oh, God, that would be so cute, actually, taking your duck for a walk.
All right, now I'm on board. Maybe here's the solution. You are ready for a duck.
No.
You think you're not ready for a duck? You're ready for a duck. Just believe in your relationship. Believe in yourself. You're getting engaged.
No, that getting engaged does not mean also acquiring a third member of the family.
What if instead of engagement rings, we had ducks? Wouldn't the world be a better place?
It's actually true.
Wouldn't it be amazing? You go to like a football game and like the Jumbotron, and then the guy gets down on one knee and just like thrusts a duck at a woman.
Will you marry me? And this duck's like squawking and flapping.
And then the duck like flies around and the whole stadium's chasing the duck, and they're like, we gotta get the duck.
And you'd go to the mall and there would be these kiosks where you can buy a duck, but you have to spend like 2 or 3 months of your salary on a really good duck so your partner will know that you're serious. Oh, you don't want to get your partner this duck.
It's just like Tulip Mania, but ducks.
Yeah, I mean, your partner is going to live with this duck for the next like 12 years. This duck is going to remind your partner of you forever. Do you really want to get a substandard duck, or do you want the highest quality duck available?
Yeah, you got to wear this duck on your hand for years.
Jacob, you have to stop this now. This is an emergency. I don't want to overstate it. But if this is not a goof, it is a very serious problem. And the way that you address it is the next time you are with your girlfriend's mother, you and your girlfriend say to / in front of the mother, I love your ducks. I'm so glad you have ducks. I'm glad that these ducks bring you joy. But we are young people who are not looking to bring a duck into our lives at this juncture. We want to be able to travel duck-free.
Right.
We want to be able to eat duck without feeling weird about it. We want to be able, this is the life we want for ourselves right now, and we need you to respect that.
Maybe you could just say like, we're really looking forward to after we get engaged to doing a bunch of traveling. It's one of the only times in our lives when we're not going to have a dog or a cat or a duck or a kid. And you just like put the duck in there, just like slip it in.
Just sneak it in. Put it third in a list of 4.
And we can just travel completely without any responsibility.
And you know what the mom is probably going to say? Don't worry, you can travel with the duck.
Oh, yeah, they love travel.
Yeah.
They love it.
They choose
Put them in
it.
the camper van.
You haven't seen Yosemite till you've seen Yosemite with a duck. You think you've been to Paris, but wait till you go to Paris with a duck.
So I had some follow-up questions about the ducks. I listened to the duck episode and I wondered, can you eat the duck? Like, do you need
your engagement duck?
Yeah.
Can you eat your engagement duck? If my mother-in-law gives me a duck, like, I'm not going to kill it. Also, if it's an engagement duck and we've replaced rings with ducks, I would feel a little weird about murdering the duck.
We're not aware of all of these scenarios.
Right. Or maybe you just set the duck free. Like, the duck is there for the moment.
Take it to a pond.
It's about this moment in time. Like, nothing is permanent.
Yes.
Eventually, we will all die. And so, like, diamond isn't forever, and neither is a duck. A duck is for this moment where I want to know if you want to spend the rest of your life with me. And so does the duck. And then once we all have agreed,
The
that
duck should
this
be
is-
free.
The duck should be free.
Let it go. Did you get any ducks when you were married, Hank?
No, I got like a mixer. Yeah, for like baking.
Oh, that's handy.
Dear John and Hank, my fiance.
Where do they pronounce it like that, John? How are you going to save that? My fiancé.
All right, this next question comes from Leah, who writes, Dear John and Hank, my fiance and I planned our wedding for this summer, and we're going ahead with it even with the current whole world situation. You know, it was always going to be a pretty small wedding, but now none of us, the grandparents, have been able to make it. We're going to live stream and record it for their benefit, but it just won't be the same. My question is, what else should we do to try to include them and to have a joyful day in such a difficult time?
Oh my God. Wow. Whew. I hope that you're all clapping for John at home. Wow, what a thing.
All right, I did it. I knew I was going to have to do it, and I did it. But I just want to state for the record that my armpit sweat is out of this world. I'm drenched.
Leah,
I'm
this is
sorry.
hard.
I'm sorry about the bummer. That's the end of the sentence.
Yeah. There have to be people who have tried to solve this problem in some ways. You know, you got to put the laptop on a robot and have it just Roomba down the aisle, that kind of thing.
I think it's more about calling attention to the people who aren't there and paying attention to them and saying that you're grateful that they're watching. Like, I think that's what makes people feel included. If they're just watching a live stream, that does start to feel like a bit of a bummer. By the way, Leah and Nick have just decided to postpone their wedding.
I just went to their wedding website and found out the same thing. So all the people who are writing in...
We shouldn't laugh. Leah,
it sucks.
I was at your website earlier today, and your wedding was not postponed earlier today, but it is postponed now, and I'm really sorry. Fortunately, you are still registered for saucepans, and I bought you one.
This is going to become a wedding advice podcast if we only reward the wedding people.
Well, I mean, anybody can include a link to their Amazon wish list. It's just that only the people who are getting married do.
That was a nice saucepan, John.
Yeah, it's a good saucepan.